Hey Rebel Rouser, I'm Alan Voivod and this is Star Wars 7x7, your daily dose of Star Wars joy, and thank you so much for joining me for it. So, Star Wars Rebels had 15 episodes in its first season, and the character of Fulcrum, or at least one of the people carrying that code name, appeared via voice or hologram in, I think, 3 of them before finally being revealed at the end of Season 1. What you need to know is that in episode 13 of the season out of 15, our titular rebels decided to hack an Imperial communications tower to send a transmission across the Outer Rim about what was going on Lothal and about the rebellion happening and so on and so forth. So they managed to do it. However, the Grand Inquisitor is lurking around, has been brought there by Governor Tarkin to help quell things on Lothal because the rebellion's getting out of hand and the local forces aren't handling it. In the process, the Grand Inquisitor captures Kanan Jarrus. And episode 14 features Fulcrum communicating with Harrison Dula saying, yeah, that transmission got a lot of attention and now you guys are going to have to go into hiding. But of course, there's some conflict about whether to do that or not because Kanan's been captured. And of course, they want to rescue Kanan. They find out that Kanan is being held on Governor Tarkin's Star Destroyer in a fleet around Mustafar. And so the episode in which Ahsoka appears, the final episode of the season, Fire Across the Galaxy, that's where we see the rescue of Kanan and Ahsoka is revealed. This is also the episode where the Grand Inquisitor dies, but not before telling Kanan Jarrus that he doesn't know what he's unleashed and that there are things that are far more frightening than death before then falling to his own death because his lightsabers messed up a power core and now the whole ship is going to explode. Naturally, of course, the thing more frightening than death is Darth Vader, who is revealed at the very end of the episode as an alternative solution to dealing with the rebellion stuff happening on Lothal. The Empire has dispatched Darth Vader to Lothal to deal with matters once and for all. But to our discussion of Ahsoka Tano. So it turns out that despite Fulcrum's suggestion that the Spectre Cell go into hiding, she apparently, and the rebels she's working with apparently, decide that, yeah, now that the rebels are staging this grand plan to break Kanan out of prison, that it's worth coming to the rescue. Specifically, Chopper realizes that the rest of the Spectre team is in trouble and so sends a transmission to Fulcrum, who is surprised to get it and says, "Who is this?" And then Chopper ultimately disappears into hyperspace, leaving the rest of our heroes wondering just where the heck he's gone. But he arrives back with the transport that they'd stolen at the beginning of this episode, the Ghost, and 3 Corellian Corvettes, which defend them from the TIE fighters that are chasing them. And so in a stolen TIE fighter and a stolen Grand Inquisitor's TIE fighter, the rebels are able to dock with the transport ship and they're able to go into hyperspace. And it's there that we find out that the person who had been piloting the Ghost was none other than Ahsoka Tano. And she has been sent basically by Bail Organa, it seems, to help rescue Kanan and then rescue the members of the Spectre Cell from the trouble that they got themselves in over Mustafar. Ahsoka tells the assembled crew that their message has been heard across the Outer Rim and they're giving people hope. And where they're at now is kind of a new beginning because they had people from other rebel cells in these Corellian Corvettes that showed up. And so this is the first time that the Spectres are aware of any other rebel cells existing, or at least I think Hera may have known and just didn't tell everybody else because, keeping the operations as quiet as possible. And clearly Ahsoka is on board with the plan now because she piloted the Ghost. And she's not saying anything like, well, yeah, this wasn't my idea to come rescue you guys, but she seems very glad to be in contact with them and to have rescued them. And now they have not 1, not 2, but 3 force-wielding folks on their side in this fight, which seems like a pretty big deal. So what we learn about Ahsoka from this is that she's been working with the rebels for a significant period of time. I mean, from year 1 out from the fall of the Republic to where we get at 5 BBY. So, I mean, we're talking 14, 15 years here, probably more on than off by comparison, right? And we know that she understands the power of hope and the power of giving oppressed people hope, especially considering that this reign of the Empire has been going on for 14 years. people need hope when the fist of the Empire has been grasping things for that long. The boot of the Empire has been stomping down on people for so long, especially in the Outer Rim. But now that Darth Vader is going to get involved, things will become especially messy, and we'll be talking about that in short order, of course. But for now, that's what I've got for you about Ahsoka's appearances in Season 1 of Rebels, finally being revealed in that last episode of the season, Fire Across the Galaxy, and that is going to do it for this episode of the podcast. It just remains for me to say thank you so much for joining me for it, as always, and may the Force be with you wherever in the world you may be.
7x7 is not endorsed or sponsored yet by Lucasfilm Limited, Disney, or 20th Century Fox, and is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Star Wars, the Star Wars logo, all names and pictures of Star Wars characters, vehicles, and any other Star Wars related items are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of Lucasfilm Limited, or their respective trademark and copyright holders. May the Force be with them. All original content is copyright by Star Wars 7x7. We hope you love it.